To this edition of the Earl Hall Show. I am so blessed to have a very special guest here. As you can see, Monday Michiru. She is a singer-songwriter and has some amazing work out there, and she's doing some special projects. So we're going to get into that right now. But first, Monday, thank you so much for taking the time out to be here with us today on the Earl Hall Show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really pleased.
Wow. Now, to kind of dive into maybe something a little deep here, so many people want to be singer-songwriters, recording artists and things of that nature. And the industry over the last 20 years obviously has changed.
Tell me about it. Yeah.
So when did you first really discover that this is the course of action you wanted to take with your life as far as being a singer-songwriter? Or did it
Right.
start there?
Well, so I come from a musical family. My parents, and by parents, I mean mother, father, and stepfather, are all jazz musicians,
Oh,
and
wow.
they're really amazing. They've done amazing things. So by the time I was aware of, like, oh, some people have parents that are plumbers or teachers or whatnot. My parents are jazz musicians. By the time I was aware of that, I already was starting to lean towards the music and loving music. And
Mhm.
I picked up my first instrument when I was, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years
What did you
old.
play?
I played, embarrassingly, I played the harmonica first. Hi, Stevie. And from there, I graduated to recorder, and then I
Wow.
graduated to flute. And that's what I landed on for a good 8 years, studying classically. I went to a performance arts school in Michigan called the Interlochen Arts Academy. Whoop, whoop, class of
Okay.
81. And it was actually there that I discovered that I could actually sing. I really didn't think that I had a voice, and to this day I don't think that's my natural instrument.
Okay.
But as I started to move away from classical music, I thought, let me sort of consider the singing situation. And because I didn't feel that I was going to be the next Whitney Houston, I
Okay.
just thought, I want, how is it that I'm going to be able to express myself musically? And
Mhm.
I just thought that songwriting was the direction I wanted to go.
Got you, got you. Did you now going from classical training, like what's the genre that you like are in right now?
So I sort of jokingly say that I'm genre fluid.
Ah, okay.
And I obviously gravitated towards the pop music of my day. And by that, I mean a lot of things from the 70s really sort of strike home to me. Steely Dan, Carole King, Earth, Wind and Fire.
Wow.
I could just go on with, I've
Awesome groups.
yeah, there's a lot of really rich material that came out of that era, Joni Mitchell. And the interesting fact is back then you were really seeing more of the singer-songwriter types. And
Mhm.
you see less of that now where you see
Yeah.
producers, they're producers. You see songwriters, they're songwriters. You see track makers, they're track makers. And the singers are singers. And maybe they write their own lyrics, but there's very few, I think, centralized singer-songwriters that are really coming forward today. So I really, when I draw back into the inspiration and influences, I really do go back into the 70s for the artists that I really admired. Yeah.
Awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, what I said earlier about the industry changing, over the past 2 decades, especially with the advent of everything that's going on the internet and people kind of, I think, shying away from being signed and going on and doing their own thing. What is your take on that?
Well, the reason that I think artists aren't being signed, they're not shying away from it. They're not getting signed. I think it really is the matter of the fact that, obviously the hardware is not selling, meaning you're not seeing the CDs being sold. And so CD players are becoming defunct. Everything is being streamed. So that means that record labels have less money to be able to risk on an artist. And so when an artist is being offered really crap deals, that's when they shy away from, being signed. So they start doing things themselves, through crowdfunding and whatnot. I still do believe in the hardware of it. And by that, I really mean sort of the sounds, the analog sounds of vinyls are my preferred
A lot of
way
people
of
are like that. That little you can't reproduce that, you know.
I remember still the first time I put in the CD and jumping out of my skin, like, oh, what was that? Oh, it's a record playing on a device that sounds so pristine and clear. It scared me. Like I
Wow.
want to hear the air. I'm not hearing the air, you know? So
Okay.
this is I think problematic as well, is that people are now getting used to hearing stream music and the quality of the sound is actually low. They don't understand that, and they're usually listening through their iPod and whatever earphones, and guess what, the sound quality is actually not so good. So oh, well, bottom is heavy, anyhow. So I actually have an issue also with the way people are listening to music. So yeah.
What are your maybe suggestions for people that are looking to do this? I mean, there could be a 15, 16-year-old kid listening to this right now or in the future. What would you say to that person that's looking to actually jump into this?
I'm suddenly realizing that the lighting is all weird. Sorry about that.
Okay, it's the sunlight. It goes in and out.
In a glaze of whatever. Anyhow, you know, in terms of going into it, the initial reason to go into it is the same no matter what period of life we're in, what century we're in, which is for the love of it. I mean, you really have to love music. If you're going into it for the fame and for the this,
Yeah.
that, because the chick next door loves this kind of music, so I'm gonna earn on my guitar, whatever. That's all good. That's fine. Do it, and feel fun with it and stuff. But if you're sort of like a serious artist, you're getting into it not for the money, you're getting into it because you love it. And I think that's true of anything you're going to do. You have to do it for the love. That's what's going to carry you through. And there's inevitably going to be the hard times.
Yeah. I mean, you hear things and you see things like the personalities of people on stage as opposed to off stage. Like you've got Michael Jackson was this low key person or whatever. And then on stage, he was a beast. You've got, Sasha Fierce, that comes up. Is there an alter ego that you have when you get behind that microphone?
Right. Well, I think some of it is maybe calculated and manipulated and made, but I
Okay.
think I actually have a belief that, and I've seen the transitions go on stage and it's real. It's almost like something that just suddenly
Mm,
comes through them and boom, this power that comes out that's like, whoa. So yeah, I do believe that there's an alter ego, but I think that true artists, their alter ego is actually their face that they wear on a daily basis in society.
yeah.
And when they climb up on that stage, that's their true selves, I think.
Wow. It's kind of like
Yeah.
a Superman effect.
Like the Incredibles, they're just, he's
Exactly.
sure as a man at night, but guess what?
What are Monday? It's so funny. I was leading up to the show. I think we talked about 2 weeks ago or something like that, scheduling this show, and it was like I was like so geeked to say I'm going to have Monday on Wednesday. It's but what are the things that you're doing right now? What does a daily week look like for you in the industry that you're in?
Oh gosh, the industry I'm in is definitely interesting. It's the thing that if you don't have a CD or a new release out, then you're not going to get picked up by promoters and venues, to do
Hmm.
tours and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's a constant thing for me to always write new material and
Yeah.
to find the inspirations to write the new material. So I actually do a lot of woodshedding at home, which means I'm
Okay.
practicing, I'm sitting in front of the piano, I'm going out to a museum or to see a movie or Netflix binge, and hearing suddenly a song. Like yesterday, I went through a whole wormhole of rediscovering a song that Nina Simone had sung, which was actually written by Janice Ian. So I
Mm,
started diving into Janice Ian's, material, and I love dissecting and analyzing other artists who I really admire,
yeah.
and seeing what made that special and what moved me, and gee, how can I move somebody with something that I can bring. So songwriting for me is a real, it's something that develops constantly because we're changing, and
Yeah.
and as a songwriter you have to write things that is from your experience, you know.
Is there, as a songwriter, I know you hear this a lot from like athletes and things like that. Is there a zone that you get into where it just seems like this is not even me? It's like it's being channeled somehow. It's, is that something that artists, singer-songwriters experience as well?
You know, I don't know. I just know that when I'm writing, I mean, there is a zone that I get into, which is
Mhm.
it's so magical and it's so deep, and I'm so focused on something that really hours will slip away. And then,
Yeah,
I like to write particularly in the morning. So then sometimes I'll realize it's 3, 4 o'clock, and I somehow forgot to eat, and I
yeah.
haven't brushed my teeth. Oh my God, you know, it's like that. That's a yeah, common reoccurrence.
You've got something that you're doing now with teaching lyrics and songwriting and things of that nature. Let's talk about that for a minute, because I think that's got to be pretty exciting for you.
Thank you so much. It really is a passion of mine right now to nurture and to serve the next generation, and other, people who want to dive into the idea of lyric writing, which interestingly, when I was doing research on it, I discovered that a lot of schools, and by that I mean conservatories and,
Mhm.
schools that are teaching composition and music, they don't really offer lyric writing classes. And I understand that. I was actually talking to a poet who attempted one semester of teaching lyric writing, and he said he couldn't do it because there are no rules, there really is no right, but there's a heck of a lot of wrongs, and
Okay.
trying to impart that is really difficult. So I've been sort of thinking about it for a good year, almost 2 years, and I started my first
Mm.
workshop, sessions. It's a course of four classes, 2 hours each, where we really dive into different things of writing, of listening, of analyzing, of and again teaching the rules. But guess what? Here's an example of something that totally breaks the rules, but it works. So it's a little confusing, but at the same time, I think it's really inspiring. There's a lot of tearing up in classes, a lot
Wow.
of feelings of gushing out, diving into vulnerabilities, because as a lyricist, you're diving into, again, your experiences, and sometimes drawing out the truth can be very painful.
Yeah.
So
I mean, anything in the arts. I mean, we've seen painting and artistry kind of evolve over the centuries, and the same thing happens with songwriting and lyrics and music. The the direction that everything is going, like, I have no clue. I mean, I hear people talk about, 8 bars, 16 bars. I don't know what
yeah.
they're saying or what they're talking about. But those rules that have been in music forever, and how it is evolving using those same rules but making it contemporary, seems so amazing to me. That seems to be such a talent. Do you find that the people that you're teaching through these classes, do they come with that? Or is it something that, can anybody do this? And I'm almost thinking like, no, everyone can't do this, but because I don't think I can, but I could be wrong.
I do believe that anyone can. True fact, when I was in high school at the performance arts school, I did a creative writing course, and the
Mhm.
teacher blank out told me I had no talent.
Oh,
Why are you taking this course? Like, you really can't
wow.
write. And it was really gutting, because I could feel that there's something inside me, and I just didn't know how to draw it out. And I think part of what I'm trying to do right now with the students that I'm working with, I like to call them participants,
Mhm.
is to try and draw out what they can bring out. I think anyone can write. I think everyone feels, everyone is touched by something, everyone's triggered by something, everyone's
Mhm.
interested in something. It's just a matter of verbalizing what that is and
Mhm.
putting it onto paper, and then the suggestions might come up. I did an exercise yesterday of I am. Let's write a whole thing, 15 minutes, I am, right? And some people wrote in ways that were really quite profound and very short and profound. And some people were, it was just like pages of I am shy, I am this, I am that.
Okay.
And then I had to show, like, this is beautiful, and I love that you brought a dichotomy of I'm weak, I'm strong, I'm vulnerable, I'm this.
Yeah.
But let's show examples of what it is that makes you shy, or how you found yourself to be shy, you know. So sometimes it's about using the right brain, you know, and or rather coaxing the right brain from the left brain, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. I mean, the artistry of everything is, and it's so shameful that someone actually told you that you'll never be good at this. It
One
was,
teacher that says to someone that they can't do something, really, just go find another vocation.
it's interesting because literally this morning I was taking my kids to school, and my son, he is in the 6th grade, and he went out for the basketball team, but he didn't make it. Now, I didn't know if he would or not, because he is kind of a little guy. But he didn't make the team. And I said, "Did you ever hear Michael Jordan's story?" And he said, "No, what is it?" I said, "Well, he was cut from his high school basketball team. His coach said he couldn't play. And he's arguably the best basketball player that's ever been at this point, because he had the desire, the will, the intellect, and he developed the skill that he didn't have at the time. He developed the skill to go on to be one of the greatest of all time."
Yeah.
So when I hear stories like that from people there, I mean, kids and young adults, they come with a passion for something that they really want to do. And to have someone just rip that apart in them, I think is a shame.
It's like giving up before they even try, you
Yeah.
know, like, let's try and find a little something in there. Can we try?
It's, even as, I mean, I do business coaching myself, and I tell people, look, I may not think you have the skill right now. And I could even tell you, quit today, just quit. But if you quit, you didn't want to do it anyway. If you quit because of what I said, you didn't want to do it. So you've got to have that gut thing that is inside of you to just follow your dream and your passion, regardless of what people have to say about it, because it's your dream.
Yeah.
you know just imagine where would you be today if you had listened to that?
Oh, you know, it still nags at me. I won't lie,
Yeah.
and you know what? But that's okay, because I did pursue what I wanted to try. But maybe it's that voice right
Mhm.
now that sometimes second guesses my lyrics and said, "Does this have a sensibility that I want? Is
Mhm.
this conveying what I want to convey?" Oh man, that's so cliche. Let's get rid of that. You know. So I sort of self-edit with that nag still on my shoulder. So who knows? Maybe it was a blessing. I don't know.
Well, it obviously pushed you to continue to go on, even though it does still nag. But I mean, Monday Michiru, I want to thank you so much for being on the Earl Hall Show today. Please tell the folks how they can connect with you, because I've been listening to your stuff on YouTube, and I'm just like, wow.
Oh, you're so kind. I so appreciate that. You know, I just finally revamped my website after like 6 years of it sitting completely still.
Okay.
So you can find me at www.mondaymichiru,
Mhm.
michiru.com.
Awesomeness. Well, once again, thank you so much for being here. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. And everyone, make sure that you do check out her website and look her up on YouTube and hear the amazing music that she develops. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in with us today. Make sure you do visit the website, theearlhallshow.com, and I'll see you tomorrow.